Hi, Mrs. Bond. It's nice to finally meet you, and I'm looking forward for this meeting today.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thanks for putting time on the calendar.
Hey, yeah, no problem. Over the past 2 weeks, I have spent some time talking to some of your people. Maybe you recognize Tom James on the financing department, or even Miss Billy Jackson on the marketing department. And I've also talked to some of your general managers as well.
Awesome.
So yeah, there seems to be a couple of troubling issues that came up repeatedly.
Mm.
And the reason I'm here today is that I would like to go over them with you, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah, I'd love to hear what you came up with.
Sure, yeah. So actually, I'm going to be asking you questions just for clarifications. I'm going to be taking notes as well, if that's okay with you.
Sure thing.
Yeah, sure. So before we start here, we have 20 minutes for this meeting. Is there anyone else that you would like to join us?
No, not at this time. I think that I'm definitely the main decision maker here. And if I need some additional folks later on, then we can go down that road once we get there. But for now, just me.
Awesome. That's great to hear that, you're the decision maker here. So, okay, let's jump into the first problem that they brought up here. According to my homework, um, they told me that your company have been losing multiple accounts in the Atlanta and Jacksonville office. Does this ring a bell to you?
Yes, it does. We have been losing some accounts, and it is a little troubling because we do have some really aggressive strategic planning ahead. So that is true.
Right. I'll learn about the business expansion growth that your company has been putting for these two locations exactly for the next 3 years. Um, with this issue here, they said that the customer's information's all over the place because they're having to manually transfer each data using Excel. So, the customer datas are difficult to track or even they're lost to the process.
Yeah, that's definitely accurate. So we have a CRM software now, but really no one's using it except for one of our groups. And so most of our stuff just comes in via email, via phone. People write stuff down, and we're trying to track it in a way that's meaningful, but it's just not happening right now.
I gotcha. So basically, you're telling me that there's just more ways in Excel that you guys are using to transfer data, right?
Yeah. So our service department uses it, but that's about it. Everybody else from sales to parts, they are not using the current CRM, and they're really just sending stuff in via email and other methods and Excel and all of that. And it's definitely become a problem, especially in our customer relationships, because we're not having that single place where we can understand our customer and their needs and what's going on with that account.
Right, right. And like customer service, you told me that customer service is your main competitive advantage here. You value customers very much. That when you guys lose the precious customer data, it's going to be bring it's going to leave your employees unprepared for future conversations, right? Like follow-ups or even just handling future objections.
Yeah. Yeah. If we don't track everything that happens, and I mean, we don't expect our sellers to put verbatim what's happening, but if we can have a meaningful history of the account, let's say somebody retires or somebody leaves or we have a new salesperson that takes over an account, we need that data so that we can help them to be successful in that account and transition easily. and have record of things that are going on with our customers so that we know what we're talking about when we come to them.
Yeah, I definitely totally agree with you, you know. I guess my question on this is, if you were to put a price on losing these accounts, how much do you think it's costing you?
That is a good question. I have not really thought about that. In terms of what the customer specifically costs, I know I could probably dig it up for what those two customers cost. So I don't know if you've been able to uncover anything along those lines or get anything from our finance folks, because I do not know that off the top of my head.
Fine. Let's just say it's going to cost you, since you're a big business here, let's just say it's $30 million. Let's put that's a ballpark. Do you agree with that? Or is that too high?
We can do the ballpark.
Too ballpark. Okay. All right then. So, is there any question with that, or should I jump to the second difficulty that was mentioned?
You can go to the second. That's good.
Okay. Yeah, the second one that was mentioned was that you guys are losing, on top of multiple accounts, you guys are also losing potential customers,
Hmm.
meaning that your salespeople are struggling to close the deals or even getting advancements along their pipelines here. Do you agree that this is a concern that a company is facing?
I would say that I've heard and I've seen the data for our customer conversion and that sort of thing. I've heard a little bit, but I haven't heard direct from sales that they're having a difficulty. And I'm not sure what a CRM would do in terms of them closing business. In my mind, it's more of a business retention, but if you've heard anything differently, I would love to understand what you've learned.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they said that, with the current system that you have, it's almost as if your salespeople are able to report, or even ask them, the sales leaders for help or the managers for help. And there is something with, Salesforce that's going to help. There's definitely going to help with that. But
Mhm.
as of this moment, it's they're taking a long time with the deals, and the longer the deals are taking, the less it's going to happen. And
Yeah.
losing some of these deals are huge because you guys are dealing with B2C customers that, even the B2C, you guys are selling, tractors, which cost around $5,000. So that's pretty big. Or
Mhm.
even you guys are losing B2B customers, which is, where the money is,
Mhm.
essentially.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, again, I would ask you, if, how much revenue could be lost here when you combine all these losing potential customers.
I mean, potential customers, that's a big chunk. That's
Right.
a deal for us.
And-
Um,
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, our total revenue for 2020 was 518 million, which
Yeah.
is up 12% over 2019. So if we're losing potential new customers, then that could potentially be a lot of money.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I also took a look at your revenue, and $500 million it's a lot. And I know you guys want to grow much more than that. So losing these accounts would definitely, be a huge burden, on your part. So yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. So the final, I guess, difficulty that was brought up was that there was a lack of an organized platform for your employees to communicate. They told me that you guys are using multiple platforms, like, like just messaging, or even calling, emails, and there's a lack of a platform. Have your employees touch you on this difficulty?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about that. And also just from what I've heard, it's really just like a lack of support
Mm-hmm.
from the business. Um, and I think that the platform has something to do with that. So I know that all of our folks might not feel that way, but I think some certainly do. So I haven't heard it necessarily in terms of like peer-to-peer communication, but in terms of company to sales communication for sure.
Okay, so you're telling me that there's almost that there has been miscommunications that happen within the departments, but not really the employees themselves.
I'm sure they experience that too. I just haven't heard of any of it firsthand.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Um, would you say that this is something that could be, could be potentially even bigger if it's not fixed sooner or later?
Yeah, I mean, I think having a consistent communication method, will always use email. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, but I think consistent communications on things that matter, like our big customers or revolving around those big accounts, that is definitely a priority and needs to be addressed. Because if we can't communicate effectively about our big customers and have a record of it, then that's problematic.
Definitely, I hear you on that. So again, you brought up communicating with each other that could lead to even losing these customers as well, or even having trouble, handling customer service.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this would definitely be costly over the future, I would say. And again, I just wanna put a price on this. How much business do you think you can lose here?
Um, I don't know. I haven't thought about it in that regard of communication issues. I mean, when we lose an account, it's kind of like that, just the one number of losing an account, but I don't know that I could divvy it up based on specific issues. Um, so I mean, really your guess is as good as mine there with that specific.
Okay. Okay. We can also, ballpark it there. But, before we move on here, with these three issues that were brought up, do you have any concerns or any other, um, yeah, before we move on to the benefits that Salesforce could offer?
The only thing that is, and I know it's sunk costs, but we've had some ERP licenses that we purchased several years ago and invested quite a significant amount of money in them. So for me, I just really need to see the ROI in investing in a CRM for our company, because it needs to be a good fit, because our last one is not being utilized. So I think that that's my big concern.
Of course, yes. So after I list all these benefits with you, I will go over the price to cost ratio that we can offer and how much using our CRM system would be such a benefit for your company. Um, when compared to the old CRM system that you had. Would that be fine with you?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So the first benefit that I would like to bring up for this specific issue of losing accounts here is called Sales Cloud, which is a software in Salesforce. So the way it works is that it lets your employees track and record each and every customer's data that were given to them. So you guys are given a dashboard, so you guys can visualize the numbers with ease, or
Mhm.
and the customers can also be arranged by name, product sold, the deals are closed, or even the objections that they've had, right?
Mhm.
So this would definitely be a benefit to not manually transfer data again in Excel. And the best thing is that it is accessible with everybody with an account, um, which will be beneficial for you guys. And the second benefit here is called stock opportunities, which is another function within Sales Cloud. And the way it works is that your employees are able to report the the stock deals within their pipelines to their managers immediately, and within seconds they're going to be able to help them with these issues. They can call the customers regarding the deal themselves, or even help them walk through the process of closing the deals with them. Does that sound like something that might help with this issue of not being able to close the deals?
Yeah, I mean, for the accounts that are, we discussed having difficulty closing accounts, I think that that definitely helps get things going more quickly than a manager needing to check in on their directs and see where everything is. So if they can just get a little ping that says, hey, need help with this, I think that's super beneficial.
Awesome. Yeah. I would agree so too. So, and we're kind of, I think we have like about 5 minutes left. So I would like to wrap up the third benefit here, which is called Chatter. It is a function as well within Salesforce that allows your employees to communicate within one single platform, right? So instead of using the multiple platforms that they brought up, you guys can use one single platform, regardless if it's different departments or locations. And the way it works is that it's just going to be a very simple, organized uh, platform that your employees can even use to have group chats or work on projects together, ideas together, or handle customer objections together.
Mhm.
And it is specifically entailed to be beneficial for your business. So yeah, I drew a T-chart here. Um, I guess this is, I don't know if you can see it very well, but just so we're on the same page here, is there anything else that I might have missed or any other concerns that you have before we move on to the final part of this presentation?
No, I think that captures everything.
Okay, sweet. So as you can see here, the Sales Cloud will directly benefit that, and stock opportunities will directly benefit losing potential customers, and channel will definitely beneficial for miscommunications, right?
Mm.
And I would like to bring up our price here. So our standard enterprise edition is around $150 monthly per user.
Mm.
And that goes about $5 daily per user, right? Which I would say is a complete bargain when you compare to the amount of costs that are costing you to the cost side, which is about like millions of dollars that you're spending on your current system, right? So as we're running out of time here, why don't we do this? Um, I know that you still have to talk to your people about all of this again. So why don't we just do this? Let me email you all the information we talked about today,
Mhm.
and then give you some time to look through everything and discuss it with your department heads or the other employees so you can make a concise or consensus. We can schedule up a follow-up appointment next week. So, you know, after you've had a chance to wrap your arms around everything that we've talked about today, you know, does this sound good to you?
Yeah, no, I think it definitely sounds good. I would like to see, I know you're getting into some of the numbers there. If you could send that to me in the email, just so I have the cost breakdowns and what that looks like.
Right.
That would be super helpful. And I can review with the finance team and get their perspective on everything. But I mean, it really does sound like it could be beneficial for us moving forward.
Awesome. Yeah. And you know, if you have any other concerns, don't fret to email me anything. And my job here is to walk you through all these benefits myself. And I want to assure you that you guys are implementing the best CRM system in the world, I would say, and that I am here to serve you guys with all your needs. So until next week, would that be a good time to make a follow-up appointment? Maybe same time?
Yep, that works for me. Same day, same time works. And then yeah, just shoot me over that information so we can thumb through it.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for meeting me today, and I'll see you next week.
Oh,
See ya.
all right.